This is Yeah, We're Going There with Dr. Natalie, breaking the silence on pelvic health for women and men. Yeah, we're going there because knowledge drives better health. Hey everyone, welcome to Yeah, We're Going There with Dr. Natalie. Today I have with me Suzan Galluzzo, a leading transformation expert and creator of the Best of You program. With over 11,000 client success stories, she's a registered holistic nutritionist, award-winning entrepreneur, and former owner of 3 women's transformation studios. Suzanne has been featured on major media outlets, including Breakfast Television, CTV, and the Globe and Mail, and is a sought-after keynote speaker. Her approach blends science-based nutrition with sustainable fitness, helping everyone from busy professionals to moms transform their health from the inside out. Recognized as one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women, Suzanne has built a global community focused on confidence, wellness, and lasting results. She now works with clients worldwide, continuing her mission to help people live healthier, more fulfilled lives. So, welcome to the show, Suzanne. I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks, Natalie.
And just so everyone knows, I've been through Suzanne's Best of You program and it works. So, I want to bring you guys legit, honest information and programs. So I definitely know this one is for sure legit. Off the top of my head, it's not that long ago, I should remember. I think in about 3 months, I lost 18 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
And have gone from my BMI being higher, my weight being higher, to now my muscle being higher. But we'll get into that. So,
Yeah.
proof positive. I was thrilled with the program. It worked. So, let's get started. What happens in the body during and after menopause that makes weight loss so much harder?
Okay, so a few different things. So what we want to understand is that it's not the menopause itself, it's what's happened in our lifestyle, what has changed, what have our habits done. So, during menopause, estrogen does decline, right? That's going to affect our fat storage, our insulin, how we process food, our sleep, our muscle mass, all those things. And so we start to lose muscle, and then in return, we start to gain fat. So a lot of the time women are gaining mostly, they notice the areas, right? It's abdominal fat. It's and then it makes weight loss far more difficult.
So, it's not just lifestyle, it's what's happening in our bodies with respect to our hormones and the hormonal changes.
Mm.
So, is it true that your metabolism slows down, or is that just oversimplifying it?
It does slow down, and I agree, it is oversimplifying it, but it does slow down, but that's only part of the story. Your metabolism is influenced by how much muscle we have, how much training we're doing, your sleep, your hormones, all those things, and food. So it's not the aging itself, it's all these different variables surrounding the aging, and then I feel like menopause just enhances it and makes it come out louder.
So, in the past, or when we're younger,
Mhm.
most of us tend to lower our calorie intake, and that works. Why
Mhm.
can't we just do the same thing when you're perimenopausal or postmenopausal?
So, having just relying on a calorie deficit is the wrong approach for women our age and older because, in our youth, we had all these other things going for us. We had a much faster metabolism. So, a simple shift in calories did the trick. It would just immediately, we would start burning more. And because we're more active when we're younger, we have more muscle mass, probably less fat. And then, now food quality matters more than ever. And so gut health plays a huge role in why women are not seeing results with just a plain old calorie deficit. So the way I look at it is like you need to literally starve yourself if you're going to ignore your digestive system during a weight loss journey. You will be starving in order to lose 1 to 2 pounds. And that's what a lot of women are doing is they're overworking and they're under eating and they're wondering why it's not working. And it's because we're not addressing the digestive system of an aging woman. We do not have the same gut microbiome as we did in our 20s. Things are slower. So we have to be respectful of that and play by your new body's rules.
So, my understanding or what I've learned is that first of all, we know that as we age, cortisol continually increases, and cortisol creates inflammation in our bodies. And that's one of the components to that affects our ability to lose weight as we age.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Does cortisol affect how we lose weight? Of course, because it gets stored in the belly, right? And the belly fat is where it's most difficult to lose. And again, I stress that digestion is going to play a huge role in lowering your cortisol, along with other things, right? Cortisol starts to go up because we start to get more stressed with more of life's things, and then your digestive system gets taxed as well. It's digesting slower. So the two in combination, you're looking at more and more difficulty losing weight. The way we lower cortisol is, one of the first things that women notice is how they feel less stressed and they feel more relaxed. And we're making them do things like go out for walks, which we put to the side because we don't have time. We're so busy. Women are
Right.
so busy. It is so hard to even cram in a 30-minute walk for yourself. It's has to be so intentional.
So, again, going back to my experience, I remember you interviewed me for social media. So it was
Yeah.
short, but the biggest thing I remember telling you that I noticed that first week
Mhm.
was my improved sleep.
Yeah.
That was the very first thing I noticed. And I know so many women who are still doing crazy cardio. I mean, I
Yeah.
used to teach spin. I used to
Yeah.
teach it, so I did it. But since starting your program, I actually sold my bike. I don't have it anymore. And
Was
I
it like Peloton or an outdoor?
No, it was not, it was like a Peloton. It wasn't that brand. I bought it
Yep.
during COVID, so I got what I got, because it was so hard to get a bike back then. But I found that when I was doing spinning, even on my own or in a class, I was hungrier throughout the day
Absolutely, yes.
and I was still gaining weight. And I didn't realize that even the stress from that I was putting on my body increased my cortisol.
Mhm.
And to go back to the mind body connection, like the microbiome within our gut, in my field, we are learning more and more how the brain and the gut are just so connected.
Mhm.
And people with anxiety and people with health issues, they're they have a leakier gut. It affects the lining and inflammation. What blows my mind is how involved it is and
Mhm.
how so many aspects are involved, that it's not just about withholding calories.
Mhm.
When we go into menopause, if those of us who choose not to potentially use like hormone replacement therapy to help boost our muscle buildup, can develop sarcopenia, which is loss of muscle mass. You lose muscle mass, you're losing that engine that helps burn fat. So I found your program just so educational from all angles. And then I felt like I supplemented that doing more and more research.
Mhm.
But one of the big things that you had talked about was we need increased protein because protein is what helps us build muscle. Could you talk about that a little bit?
So I think what a lot of women try and do, and I still hear this on every call, is They kind of try to impress me at first, and I'll be like, "So what are you doing right now?" Where well, I'm prioritizing protein and I cut my carbs right away. I'm like,
No.
"You're not supposed to cut your carbs." Whoever sold us that myth is either profiting largely, but it's a big lie, it's a big misconception. You know that I don't believe in fad diets. I don't believe in things like keto and paleo and all these things where they prioritize one macro and eliminate other macros or decrease significantly. Number one, I don't think it's realistic. As human, biologically female women, we require all three macronutrients. For me, it's pretty even space, like it's on even scale. Protein, carbs, fats all have a role in female biology. We need that protein, as you said, to avoid sarcopenia, osteopenia, and as we're aging, we are losing a significant amount of muscle. And I tell people, you're walking, you're losing muscle. If you're not replenishing that in your diet, you're just going to continue to, and you're not doing the right types of strength training, you're going to fall apart. If we're not consuming enough carbohydrates, you're going to hit a wall at the end of the day. You're going to have low energy. You're going to have terrible sleep. Um, we need those slow burning carbs to have enough energy to go and strength train at the gym. And then we need healthy fats for hormonal balance. Right. And so the three are so necessary. And that's how my program is built on that foundation that every macro is important for women, especially, and nothing is to be eliminated. So, yeah, to me, it's like when people start to play with these diets and numbers and they go extreme, that's when you know it's wrong. When it's not sustainable, I can go anywhere, now, you can go anywhere and everywhere and do best of you. I can go to a buffet in Jamaica. I can go to somebody's cottage, somebody's barbecue, like I can go anywhere. I can go to Europe because it's realistic and it's sustainable.
Right. Yeah, no, food prep every week, and food prep is a big part of your program. And I remember when I started your program, I was anxious at the
Yes.
thought of food prepping because I'm
Yes.
no cook by any
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
And now it's like my whole family goes, "Oh, you're prepping today?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm prepping today."
Excitement when mom is prepping, right? And it is a tedious task for us as women to own that role. And it's very difficult to keep up with the demands. So then most women, right? We end up just tossing our own needs to the side. But when you figure out a plan that works for you, can help out your family, and it just makes everyone's life easier, it's so beneficial. A lot of women, when they come into the program, they're thinking, oh my God, she's going to make my life crazy and harder. And it's like,
That was my fear.
and it's the opposite, right? I'm actually, no, I say to them, it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning, but in the end, I'm going to make your life simpler than what it is now. And you're
That's
going to get the result you need.
very true. Very true. So, do you tell people not to do cardio at all? Like, what do you typically recommend?
No, of course, we all need cardio. Just like how I look at food, I look at workouts. A little bit of everything is good. For me, the basics are strength training and walking. Those are at a minimum. Yes, women should be doing 1 to 2 days of cardio, like a faster run, even if it's 20 minutes. That's what I do, 20 to 25 minutes of a faster run 2 days a week. But everyone needs some kind of cardio. And the walks have to be with intent. You're going on a walk. It's not just the walking that you're doing to a grocery store. That counts, of course, but you want to take one walk a day that is for that intention of getting in your steps and walking at a brisk pace. We have lots of women with knee issues. Their weight is too heavy. They can't do those longer walks. But at the end of the day, most people can walk, and the benefits are huge for walking. And it's probably one of the simplest things to add, right?
Right. Have a lot of patients who are very overweight where I work.
Yeah.
And a lot of knee pain, a lot of hip pain, and they
Mhm.
could barely make it from the waiting room into my
Yeah.
office. Would, let's say, a recumbent bike
Of
work
course.
as effectively? Would they have to work at with maybe more resistance and higher speed, or it
No,
doesn't matter?
no, it doesn't, especially in the beginning stages, especially with a weight loss client. I just say, do what you can, what you're capable of. Do 30 minutes a day of something that you're able to do. We design workouts for women that are completely immobile and they're seated and they're doing strength training. Today on the Strand, I saw a man with that bike and he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
75.
Oh, it's actually, when you use your upper body, you burn more.
And it's like you see, like there is something for everyone. And that's where people, another thing I hear a lot of on a call is a woman will say to me that, I stopped working out because I've got this sciatica or, whatever the reason is. And they completely stop. And I disagree with that. There is always something you can do. My son broke his arm. He was doing full lower body workouts
Mhm.
for 2 months. He twisted his ankle. I was like, that's it. We're doing abs. We're doing upper body seated with, seated strength training. And like you said, there's always a bike, something like that. So you got to find something you can do. And at the very least, when it comes to really severely overweight clients, it's start with diet then. If we can't start with any movement, start with nutrition.
That makes sense because then they'll lose the weight, they'll have less pressure on their joints, and
Yep,
they'll have an easier time
exactly.
doing the physical exercise. And what age do you typically recommend that people or women really start focusing on this way of living or this lifestyle? Because that's what it is.
Yeah, it truly is a lifestyle. I think that if women go from it's this magical age of 30, 38, where women think they're fine at the pace that they're going, and because they're overconsumed with um, their duties of whether it's motherhood or work.
Or
That's what I
both.
see a lot of, both, literally. And where I see a lot of the younger ladies losing is they don't actively make that transition from, their 30s that were, excusable, right? I hear a lot of reason. Well, me and my husband, we both work and we've got a 5-year old and an 8-year old. And I'm like, yeah, girl, you're in the weeds. But if you don't figure something out right now, you're 190 pounds, you're 5'2", your 40s are going to look a lot worse. The narrative is starting to change and they're realizing it. But I'm like, well, you're young and cute now, but immobility is a real thing. And if you neglect your body in your 30s, that's where I see the trouble beginning. And if they don't fully understand nutrition and they're still on this rat race of short term diets, then that's where they usually go into their 40s and having no idea how to go about this.
So, from what I'm hearing, really starting in your 30s is ideal,
It's necessary. It's a non-negotiable.
but it's still not too late for those who are starting later.
Absolutely not. We've had women 65 reverse their health completely, reverse diabetes, lose weight, have perfect blood work, re-educate themselves. I think a lot of women think that they're not capable of the education behind it because it's never been a part of their identity. But in your 50s, you've got more time.
Mhm.
Most of the, your kids are grown up, you've got more reason, and you're more stable in your career perhaps, or your university kids are on their way out or they've left. Like, there is time in your 50s and 60s to dedicate more than a girl in her 30s. A woman in her 30s trying to learn this, they're clawing at the walls, trying to keep up. And I know this of my members, but everybody has a situation. I always say that. And women before you have conquered it, women after you will continue to conquer your situation. So we got to do our best.
So, really, what it comes down to, it's a lifestyle.
Mhm.
So, it's watching what you eat or not necessarily reducing what you eat, but eating the right food,
Mhm.
exercising,
Mhm.
which would be focus on strength, but include cardio. What else would you say is important?
A few things. I would say that getting re-educated with your new self. You're not the same woman you were in your 20s. Y- Weight Watchers is not a long-term plan. That's not going to get you to your 90s healthy. So, educating yourself on exactly what it is that you require and going out and sourcing those experts. I think a lot of women are waiting for the ball to drop and for them to receive help. We have to go seek the help that we require.
I agree. I tell my patients they all have to be proactive. If they feel they
Yeah.
need something, don't wait for someone to reach out to you. You call.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
agree with that. So you mentioned Weight Watchers. I was driving by a billboard the other day and saw that Weight Watchers is now selling GLP-1. Is that what
I
it is?
took a
GLP-1?
picture. Yeah, I took a picture.
I was like,
Hold
what
on.
happened to Weight Watchers?
I think that was the bigger picture, the goal for them as soon as GLPs, because I think Oprah is still involved with Weight
Oh.
Watchers. So, when she started supporting the GLP movement, which I'm not against, but do it right.
So what does that mean? Because almost all my patients are on it,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing most of them because of pelvic floor issues. And what we know 100% is constipation makes pelvic floor issues worse.
Worse.
So, what's the right way?
Like how you did it, right? You didn't do GLPs, but getting the education involved. I speak to so many women on GLPs daily, and they still think that it's going to solve their problems for good. And they lack the education behind it to actually make the GLP work for them, not against them.
So, how does it work for them? I mean, I've seen blood work turn out beautifully. I
Yep.
was thrilled not to have to ever do it. I mean, I didn't have that much weight to lose, but again, I had gained this weight in menopause.
Yep. So this is where I see women doing it wrong is they're using the GLP just as an appetite suppressant. So all they're doing is taking their old habits and just eating less. Your old habits is what got you there in the first place. So they're eating their regular foods. I've seen my
You're
mother-in-law do it.
right. You're
She's
right.
eating her pasta, her cake, her pizza, but she's
Just lots
eating
of it.
this much of it, little bit. Well, you're not learning anything, and the science required in order to maintain a healthy weight. There is a lot of science that you need to learn and understand to go from a weight loss, a restrictive calorie position to a maintenance calorie. And there's a lot of work involved and a lot of learning. And that's where I see women really sabotaging themselves because they don't want to learn. And I think that's also a big part of the culture is that no, why would I learn? I have the drug now. And the culture is pushing that. They're not learning about macros. They're not learning about their digestive system. And so to me, they could have this drug really work for them for good, especially the severe cases, while learning alongside doing it, but learning the proper way of eating. How much protein, carbs, fats do I require as a 250-pound woman now versus when I'm 200 pounds? That takes a lot of dedication to understand, but to me, they're lazy and they're cheap.
And do a
How?
better job if they eat the right foods
Absolutely.
while doing the GLP. So it's interesting. Just this past week, I had a patient on Ozempic with constipation. She's seeing me literally for the constipation. So
Yes.
I'm talking to her about increasing her water or her
Yeah.
fluid, increasing her fiber.
Vibrant.
You know what she said? She said, well, I'm really not hungry, so I don't know when to eat the
Exactly.
fiber.
Yeah. See,
So
it's
she's
just
eating
cop out.
everything else
Yeah,
that isn't going to help, but where
yeah.
the fiber could.
Instead of having a salad and eggs for breakfast, still having, a piece of toast, uh, or a bar. They're making all the wrong decisions in food. We see it all the time too. We have hundreds of women come to us that gained all their weight back. Let's talk about the muscle that they've lost because they don't understand. If you don't eat the right amounts of protein, carbs, fats, you're not losing fat. You're losing pure muscle, baby, because you refuse to understand the basics. The most basic nutrition knowledge is eat your protein, your carbs, your fats consistently in a caloric level that suits you, not over, not under. You know, the, me, they're shooting themselves in the foot multiple times, multiple
Right.
places. You're going to lose a significant amount of muscle. We know you cannot maintain a low body weight with the wrong ratios of muscle and fat. If you're overfatted and under muscled at the end of that GLP, you will maybe maintain your weight, and I've seen this 100 times, 1 to 2 years, because you're going to just train yourself to eat at that level, but over time it's going to come back. We see it come back a lot faster.
And your metabolism doesn't change.
No, because you didn't bother to strengthen it.
Right.
And like it's you can strengthen your metabolism.
So I kind of see muscle strengthening as strengthening your metabolism. Is that what you're referring to?
No, so strengthening your metabolism is by doing exactly what you should be doing with your nutrition, which is eating structured meals, spacing them apart, paying attention to digestion. That's how we strengthen our metabolism, giving ourselves the food that we require so that the body understands to burn it at a consistent pace. But
Got
when
it.
you go from like, ah, you know what, I just don't even feel like eating, we're telling our metabolism to slow down and
Right.
not burn anything. But the next time that you do consume a lot of food, let's say you have breakfast one day, but you don't the next, you're sending the wrong signals to your metabolism. Hunger and satiety hormones get out of whack because you're not controlling your blood sugar levels, you're having random foods, and it's a domino, right? And it's like, if anything, anybody on a GLP should be so structured and organized with their food because they are on a GLP.
That makes a lot of sense. I kind of forgot about that side of things. I keep thinking, maybe because of what I do, I keep thinking about the muscle and the strengthening portion. As the more you build muscle, the more you burn fat. But I love how you just explained about eating the right foods or eating enough foods will also maintain your metabolism.
We're trying to teach the body to burn a certain amount of calories throughout every day consistently, right? And that's why when you come into my program, it's like, I don't care if you don't eat breakfast, you're eating these 5 meals each and every day because we're going to strengthen your metabolism to reteach it to burn at
Right.
these times. And then we're resting it after 6, 7 p.m. until the following day. And then when we hit the point we're happy with our weight, now we must add back calories because we can't go from a restrictive calorie to a maintenance calorie position too quickly, right? We're going to expand those fat cells again. So, what's happening with the GLP users? They're going from restrictive to maintenance or above too quickly. And then the consequences are they expand their fat cells all over again. And they're in a worse position because now they've lost muscle.
Right. So in your program, you refer to that as reverse dieting.
Yes, the final phase.
And the purpose again of that is
So the purpose of the reverse diet is so that because when we lose weight, we just shrink our cells, right? We don't lose them. They don't disappear. So those shrunken fat cells they're very sensitive, especially in hormonal women. And now we have to be extra careful in how we go back up in calories. So you can't go from a restrictive calorie position and be like, you know what, I'm going to go to Mexico now and I'm going to eat at a buffet every day. Your fat cells will expand up to 4 times their size literally overnight. I've seen women gain 40 pounds in 2 months because they made that mistake. And so, but we keep telling ourselves that oh, I can just eat this way for the rest of my life. I've been doing it for the past 6 months, when they're on the
It's
GLP.
not realistic, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. And nor should you want that. You shouldn't want to undereat as if human that has to do things throughout the day, right? So we need to get our ladies back up to a maintenance calorie position where they can sustain the weight loss and most importantly, they can build muscle, more muscle, muscle that they didn't have to begin with. So it's we're rebuilding the body during the whole journey, right up
Yes.
until the end.
And like I said, I've seen it. When I started your program, I was doing a lot of classes. I've
Yes.
pretty much cut the classes. I'm only
Yeah.
doing weightlifting now. I'm leg pressing 200 pounds. Leg curl, not as strong, but I went from 30 to 50 pounds with leg curl.
Good
And
for you.
I had
Yeah.
a male friend at the gym just walk by. Actually, I know his wife from where I used to teach bar and spin, and he came by and he's just saying hello, but he glanced at my weights and he did a double take. And he goes, I think that's what I do. And he pulled up his phone and he started looking. And then he started following me from machine to machine. And he goes, okay, you're weight shaming me. I thought that was fabulous.
See that? That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. At the beginning of this interview, you talked about the quality of food.
Mhm.
Could you maybe expand on that? Are you talking organic versus non organic? What are you talking about?
So, usually when I speak about the qualities of food, I speak about what are the micronutrients and the phytonutrients that we're getting from these foods, and that's why it's really important to have not only do we want fiber from these vegetables, but we want the micronutrients and the phytonutrients that are going to give us the right bacteria that we need for our gut. And as females, aging females, we have a very sensitive gut lining that is very easy to put holes in. And a lot of overweight people have no idea that they have leaky gut, candidiasis, gut toxicity, all these things. And so we want to make sure we're incorporating foods that are going to give us the right qualitative properties, the qualities of food, not just quantities, right? That's why I believe in macros, but prior to macros is the approach of healing and making sure that we're getting the right nutrients and healing the digestive system and the lining, everything to do with that, because once we heal the digestive system, your food is going to flow faster. You're going to excrete more toxins and waste that your body has been keeping. Just, your constipated ladies, the biggest problem is that their digestive system, it needs to be healed so that they can excrete waste on a regular basis. And I know you're trying to communicate it to them as well. They're doing the Ozempic, they're not hungry, and they're not eating the right foods. But I can guarantee you that if you were eating vegetables, made vegetables the priority and not the other things, you would eat it, right?
How do you feel about dairy?
So dairy is a no for me, again, especially in hormonal women, because dairy creates a lot of mucus in the body. And that's going to get in the way of foods digesting efficiently enough and going through our digestive system and excreting. So that's one reason most women are intolerant to dairy. They don't know it. And it's slowing down their weight loss efforts. And it can cause damage in the gut lining as well. And we're trying to heal that. So my programs are always dairy free.
And cooked versus raw veggies?
So I think we need everything, right? We need cooked, we need raw. We're going to get a lot of different types of bacterias from both. And so we want to make sure we have a good variety, especially I would say, make time at dinner to have that cooked and raw element in your meal.
Got you. And if you could tell women if they had to, let's say, cut one thing right now, what would that be?
Oh, geez. I would say cut one thing right now.
I know what I thought you'd say.
What?
I thought you'd say alcohol.
For sure. You're right. Absolutely. That's like,
It's just a huge cause of inflammation in the body.
and a lot of women are in a calorie deficit during the week, but they're having those 1 to 2 drinks on the weekends, and I'm like, "That's you're gonna hit a wall. You're never gonna lose weight."
And I know you gotta go, but I'd love to just ask maybe 1 or 2 more questions. What does
Sure.
success look like beyond just the number on the scale?
I would say the quality of your life, the new habits that you incorporate that you didn't identify with as a woman. I love it when I see women doing new things that they never did before because of so many reasons. They didn't feel like they were capable because maybe they had shame around it. Like there are so many non-scale victories, wearing things they never thought possible, going places and enjoying themselves, going to concerts and having a great time and not worrying about not being consumed with what they look like, being with their kids and fully enjoying the moment and not worrying about what they're wearing any longer. It doesn't even matter. They just feel so good. They're so happy. I think those are the best wins.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And if someone feels stuck right now, where should they start?
Could
Did I
you
lose?
repeat that, Natalie? It cut
Yeah, of
out.
course. I said, if someone feels stuck right now, where would you recommend they start?
I would say if they can get an expert, that's how I always look at every problem in my life is there an expert out there that can help me get overcome this? So I think getting a good expert around you that can guide you. Also, I always say I sell free things. I sell walking, water, meal prep. I sell all the things I'm asking people to do are free in life. So it's like just start with the most basic things. We don't need all these fancy things like cold plunge and IVs and peptides. We don't need any of that. We need very basic things to get started.
I love that. I love that, and I believe it because I've seen it.
Yeah.
So, if people want to find you, how can they find you?
So www.suzangalluzzo.com, and my Instagram is Suzanne Galluzzo, my YouTube.
On the show notes.
Thank you.
And do you ever offer any discounts or sales
I
to
mean, we do
clients?
sales occasionally. We have 2 programs right now. So we have the hormone release reset, which is a great entry level program. It's 297 USD for 8 weeks and it's a self-study.
But
Thank you, Natalie.
thank you so much for being here. I'm going
My
to
pleasure.
share your information, and I look forward to continuing this in the future.
Awesome.
Have a
Thank
great day.
you. You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to Yeah, We're Going There with Dr. Natalie. If this conversation helped you feel more informed or less alone, consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing the episode. Until next time, yeah, we're going there because knowledge drives better health.